All right, ready to unlock your inner giant.
Let's do it.
Today, we're diving deep into Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giant Within.
A blueprint for, taking control of your life.
And achieving some pretty incredible things, right?
Absolutely. Incredible things. We're talking about decisions with real impact.
Understanding those kind of hidden forces behind, like, everything you do.
Yeah, and rewiring your beliefs. Like, really, to achieve success.
I mean, what's so fascinating about this book, at least for me, is it's not just like one little change. It's like Robbins gives you this whole system.
For transforming your whole life.
Your whole life, starting with like how you even make decisions.
Absolutely, starting with decision.
And that's where that whole Niagara syndrome comes in, right?
Oh, yeah. The Niagara syndrome.
It just like, I know that really captivated me when I read that.
Such a powerful idea.
It's like, you're on these little boats, you're heading towards the falls.
Right.
And so many people are just letting the current carry them.
Instead of like actually grabbing those oars.
Yeah.
Steering.
Steering.
Yeah.
Taking control. Exactly.
It's such a powerful image, and it's true for so many of us.
It is. It really is.
Robbins highlights how essential it is to make these choices, big and small,
Right.
Like, he uses this example of Eastern Europe, where people decided to change their political and economic reality.
Oh, yeah.
And it worked. They literally, changed the course of history just by deciding what they stood for.
I mean, that's amazing. It really is.
Yeah.
It shows you how powerful one person's decision can be.
Absolutely.
Kind of makes me think, if they could change a whole system, what decisions can I make to change my own life?
Yeah.
You know?
That is the question.
Yeah.
That's the key question. And Robbins gives us another tool to make those decisions more effectively.
Right.
Understanding the forces behind every single thing we do.
Okay.
Pain and pleasure.
Okay, yeah, this is where it gets really interesting for me, I think.
I know, right?
So he says everything we do,
Yeah.
like literally everything, from grabbing a snack
To starting a business.
to starting a business,
Yeah.
comes down to this: wanting to avoid pain or gain pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so simple.
It's simple, but so profound.
Yeah, it was like a light bulb.
Yes.
It really was.
Like a light bulb.
When I read that, yeah, it is.
It is. It's deceptively simple.
Yes.
With huge implications. Think about, he talks about those Levi's 501 commercials.
Oh, yeah.
They don't explain, logically why you should buy the jeans.
Right.
They create associations, right? With, freedom,
Yeah.
sexiness, adventure,
Yeah.
all things our brains crave,
Yeah.
It's brilliant marketing.
And we buy into it. We
Sure.
buy into it because it triggers that pleasure response, right?
Exactly.
Even if we don't consciously realize it, it's kind of scary how powerful that is.
It is. It is, but here's the empowering part.
Okay.
Once you understand this principle,
Yeah.
you can start to rewire those associations. Okay, imagine if you linked the pleasure of, let's say, reaching your fitness goal to, choosing a healthy meal instead of giving into that donut craving.
Right.
You're basically hacking your own motivation system.
That's brilliant.
Right.
So you're saying we can choose what brings us pleasure
Yes,
and use that to achieve goals.
absolutely.
Okay.
You can. And speaking of reaching goals,
Yes.
our beliefs play a huge role
Oh my gosh. Yes.
in whether we succeed or not.
It's so true.
Robbins really emphasizes how much our beliefs shape our actions.
And ultimately our destiny.
And ultimately, destiny.
It's true. It's like that saying, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
Yeah.
It all comes down to what you believe about yourself.
He uses this, example of Marva Collins.
Okay.
This teacher, she achieved incredible results with inner city kids simply because she fiercely believed in their potential. And guess what? Those kids soared because her belief in them became their belief in themselves.
Wow. Talk about an inspiring example.
Yeah.
It shows how much our beliefs can make a difference, even about other people.
It really does.
So how do we cultivate those empowering beliefs, especially if you are really struggling with self-doubt?
Well, one powerful technique he recommends is modeling.
Okay.
It's about learning from those who are already getting the results you want.
Okay, yeah.
Think of it like peeking behind the curtain.
Yeah, okay.
Seeing how these successful people think and act.
Makes sense, yeah. It's like having that cheat sheet.
Yes, cheat sheet for success.
For success, exactly.
Exactly.
Do you have any specific examples of modeling from the book?
Yeah, he uses, Ford Motor Company.
Okay.
They were struggling until they adopted W. Edwards Deming's principles of quality control.
Okay.
And it completely transformed their company.
Wow.
Shows how, shifting beliefs can lead to massive positive change.
Yeah.
And it can work in your personal life, too.
Okay, so if Ford can turn things around by just changing their beliefs,
Yes.
maybe I can finally conquer that fear of public speaking.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
By modeling someone who's like a confident speaker.
There you go. That's it. And Robbins gives us, a framework for continuous growth
Okay.
called CFSE,
Quick
constant and never-ending improvement.
Love it.
It's about striving to be a little bit better today than you were yesterday.
I love that. I love that. It takes the pressure off of like being perfect all the time.
Right.
You know?
It does. It does.
Yeah. It's more about like enjoying that journey of growth.
Exactly. Enjoying the journey.
Right.
And that journey involves understanding how our minds work.
Okay.
So one of the key concepts Robbins explains is neuroassociative conditioning, or NAC.
NC. Okay.
It might sound complicated,
Okay. No.
but think of it like this.
Okay. Break it down for me.
Remember how the smell of cookies can instantly transport you back to childhood?
Yes.
That's NAC. Your brain links that smell
Right.
with a specific emotion and experience.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Those associations can be positive or negative.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right.
So if I had like a bad experience public speaking years ago, my brain might still associate that event with like fear and anxiety.
Totally.
Even though I'm a totally different person now.
Even though you're a completely different person?
Well,
yeah. Those are false neuroassociations.
Oh, okay.
They can hold you back.
Okay.
But the good news is, with Robbins' techniques, you can rewire those connections.
Yeah.
You can break free from those limitations.
Yeah.
Create new positive associations that support your goals and values.
So it's like we have the power to reprogram our own emotional software.
You got it.
That's amazing.
That's the power.
It really is.
That's the power. But it's not just about controlling your emotions, right?
Okay, yeah.
It's also about understanding them.
Yeah.
So Robbins talks about emotional mastery, how emotions can be powerful allies.
Okay.
He challenges us to stop thinking of emotions as good or bad.
Right.
Instead, see them as action signals.
Action signals.
Messengers trying to communicate something important.
Okay, so instead of ignoring
Yes.
or suppressing an emotion like fear,
Right.
we can ask, what is this feeling trying to tell me?
Exactly. You got it.
Okay.
For example, fear might signal that something important is at stake.
Okay.
Right? So it motivates you to prepare, to take action. So it's not the enemy, it's information.
Okay, so you're telling me that even fear can be helpful.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
My mind is blown.
It's a reframe.
Yeah.
It's a reframe.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so.
And one of the tools Robbins suggests for understanding and directing our emotions is the power of questions. The questions we ask ourselves.
Yes, yes.
They shape our thoughts and feelings, which then drive our actions.
This is where it starts to feel like we have real control,
Yes.
over our internal world.
You do.
So instead of asking, like, why am I so unhappy?
Right.
You could ask, what's one thing I can do today to feel better?
Exactly.
Yeah, just changing that focus.
Yeah, by shifting the focus, right?
Yeah.
Of our questions, we change the direction of our thoughts, our feelings.
Yes.
Ultimately leads to different actions and outcomes.
Yeah.
So it's like having a GPS that guides you to a more positive destination.
Okay, I like that. I like that. And speaking of using language to shape our experience, Robbins introduces this concept, transformational vocabulary.
Oh, yes.
This one, I don't know, it just really stuck with me.
It's a powerful concept.
It's like the words we use to describe our emotions actually change how we experience them.
They do.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
He shares this anecdote about how different people use different words to describe the same emotion, right?
Right.
Highlighting how vocabulary shapes perception and intensity. Yeah. Imagine you're feeling anxious about a presentation.
Okay.
If you tell yourself, I'm terrified, you'll likely amplify that feeling.
Right. But if you say, I'm a little nervous, but I'm prepared and excited to share my ideas, that feels way more manageable.
Exactly.
Right.
By consciously choosing more empowering words, you shift your emotional state.
Yeah.
Create a more positive experience.
I love that.
It's like magic.
It is like magic. It's like you have this magic wand for your emotions.
You do.
I love that.
You do. But words aren't the only way we shape our reality, right?
Right.
Robbins also talks about the power of metaphors.
Yeah. Okay, metaphors.
Metaphors are more than just figures of speech.
Yeah.
They shape how we perceive and interact with the world.
Okay.
Think about the common phrase, "I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place."
Oh, yeah. We use that one all the time.
All the time.
But it makes you feel trapped.
Trap.
And powerless.
Powerless.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And Robbins points out that we often use metaphors unconsciously, which means they can limit us without us even realizing it.
Wow.
But if we become aware of the metaphors we're using,
Okay.
we can choose more empowering ones.
Okay.
So instead of being stuck, maybe you're at a crossroads with multiple paths ahead.
Okay, yeah.
Right. Such a simple shift.
Simple, yeah.
But it feels so much more hopeful.
It does. It's like night and day.
It is. And that's the power of consciously choosing the stories. And the metaphors we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
They become the lens through which we view the world.
Okay, yeah.
Now, all of these tools and techniques for shaping our emotions and our reality, they ultimately lead us to a deeper question.
Okay.
What are our values?
Values, okay? That's like the compass that guides our decisions, that ultimately shapes our destiny, right?
Absolutely.
Hey.
They determine what's truly important to us.
Yeah.
What we strive for, what we're willing to fight for.
Yeah.
Robbins emphasizes the importance of understanding both our moving toward values, like what we want to experience more of,
Right.
and our moving away from values, what we want to avoid.
Okay, yeah.
He shares that story about Jolie, who left her dream job
Oh, yeah.
at Disneyland
At Disney.
because it conflicted with her higher value of family.
Yeah, yeah.
And that shows how powerful our values are in guiding our choices.
Yeah, even when they're difficult, right?
Even when they're really tough. And those choices are often influenced by another layer of our master system,
Okay.
our rules.
Rules, okay.
These are the unconscious beliefs we hold. If that doesn't happen, they might feel unloved.
Even if their partner is expressing affection in other ways.
In other ways.
Yeah.
It's an arbitrary rule that creates unnecessary suffering.
That makes so much sense.
All right.
Yeah, it's like setting ourselves up for disappointment.
Yeah.
Based on these, like, unspoken expectations.
Unspoken expectations, yeah.
So how do we start identifying and changing these rules?
Well, Robbins provides this framework for examining our rules.
Okay.
And making sure they're empowering us, not limiting us.
Okay.
So it's about becoming the conscious architect of your own emotional universe.
I like that, yeah. But all these internal mechanisms,
Yeah.
values, beliefs, rules,
Right.
they're built on this foundation of our experiences, right?
Yes.
What Robbins calls references.
References.
Okay, so references, that's all the stuff that shapes our beliefs.
Yes.
Right. Our memories, our experiences, the stories we tell ourselves.
Exactly.
Okay.
And our references aren't limited to actual events.
Oh.
They also include how we interpret those events.
Right, right.
The meaning we give them, even imagined experiences.
So even a negative experience can become an empowering reference if we focus on, like, the lessons learned.
Absolutely.
And the growth that resulted.
Yes.
Okay.
We have the power to choose the meaning we assign to our experiences.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Shaping them into sources of strength rather than limitations.
I like that. Okay, and that brings us to the final element of the master system, right?
Yes.
Identity.
Identity.
Who believe we are at our core.
At our core, yeah.
This is where things get really deep.
It is deep.
Yeah.
Robbins points out that our identity influences our entire master system.
Wow.
Shaping everything from our values and beliefs
Right.
to our emotional patterns.
Wow.
So he highlights how even small shifts in identity
Okay.
can lead to massive life changes.
Okay.
He shares that fascinating story about the Chinese communists
Yeah.
and their psychological tactics during the Korean War.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
They manipulated American prisoners' sense of identity
At the point where they were betraying their country.
to the point where, they were betraying their own country.
Wild.
It's a chilling example of how powerful identity can be.
Yeah.
And while most of us won't face that level of manipulation,
Right.
it shows how crucial it is to consciously examine our own identity.
So we need to ask ourselves, who am I really? And who do I want to become?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Robbins encourages us to explore expanding our identity
Okay.
to encompass new roles, new beliefs, and new possibilities.
Okay.
So it's about breaking free from the limitations of our past,
Yeah.
stepping into a more expansive version of ourselves.
I love that. That's so powerful. But if we're stepping into this new, more expansive self, how do we make it real in our everyday lives?
That's where Robbins' approach to time comes in.
Okay.
It's not about fitting more into your schedule, but about experiencing time differently.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's dive into that.
Welcome back to the deep dive.
So we've been talking about the master system.
Right, the master system.
Those values, beliefs, rules, and even our identity.
Yeah.
It's incredible to realize how much control we actually have over those things.
It really is.
You know, it's like you become the CEO of your own life.
The CEO of your life.
Right. And it reminds me of how Robbins talks about emotional mastery.
Yes. The emotional mastery.
Tuning those so-called negative emotions into what he calls action signals.
Action signals?
Yeah.
He emphasizes that emotions aren't the enemy, they're messengers trying to tell us something.
Right.
Instead of pushing those feelings away, we can learn to listen to their messages.
Yeah.
And use them to make better decisions.
That's so much more empowering than just trying to think positive all the time.
Right.
So how do we actually do that? How do we decode these action signals?
Well, Robbins gives us this breakdown of common action signals and what they might be trying to tell us.
Okay.
For example, discomfort, which can range from like a mild feeling of unease to more intense frustration, is often a signal that something needs to change.
So it's that feeling that something's not quite right.
Exactly.
Like that nagging sense that you need to like make a change at work.
Yeah.
Or in a relationship. Or
exactly. And instead of ignoring that feeling, you know, lean into it.
Okay.
Ask yourself, what needs to change here?
Okay. Yeah.
Another common signal is fear.
Oh, fear.
Which can feel, you know, paralyzing, but it can also be a powerful motivator.
Fear is definitely a big one for me.
Right.
But I'm starting to see how it's not always a bad thing.
No, it's not always a bad thing. Fear often stems from a perceived lack of resources.
Okay.
Or the belief that you're not capable of handling something.
So it's not necessarily the situation itself that's scary, but our thoughts about it.
Exactly, our thoughts about it.
Yeah. And that's why facing your fears head on can be so transformative.
Okay.
By developing new skills, gaining more knowledge, or even just reframing the situation, you can often reduce or eliminate that fear.
I'm starting to see how understanding these action signals can really help us navigate life's challenges more effectively.
More effectively.
What about hurt? That's a tough one to deal with.
Hurt. Yeah, hurt often arises from a perceived loss of connection.
Okay.
Or a sense of being unloved or unappreciated.
Yeah.
It can feel like an emotional wound, right?
Yeah.
That needs to heal. But while it's painful, it can also motivate you to communicate your needs more clearly.
Right.
To set healthier boundaries or even seek out more fulfilling relationships.
So it's about using that hurt as a catalyst for growth and positive change.
Yes.
It's not about dwelling in the pain, but using it to create a better future.
Exactly. Create a better future.
Yeah.
Now, if hurt isn't addressed, it can sometimes escalate into anger, which is another powerful action signal. Anger can be a tricky one.
It can.
It can be destructive if it's not channeled properly.
Yes.
But it can also be a force for positive change. Like, I've seen that.
Absolutely.
In my own life, too.
Robbins suggests that anger often arises when your values have been violated.
Okay.
Or your standards haven't been met. It's like your internal alarm system going off saying, hey, pay attention. Something's not right here.
Right.
So it's about understanding the message behind the anger and using that energy to create positive change, whether it's setting boundaries, speaking up against injustice, or making changes in your own life.
Okay, so it's about like, I don't know, not necessarily suppressing that anger, but understanding where it's coming from.
Yes, understanding it.
And using it for good.
Using it for good, yeah.
No.
Now, related to anger is frustration.
Oh, frustration.
Which can be incredibly draining. That feeling of being stuck, like you're spinning your wheels and getting nowhere.
Frustration is definitely a feeling I know all too well.
I think we all do.
Yeah. Robbins suggests that frustration often comes from feeling like you're not making progress toward a goal.
Right.
It's a sign that maybe you need to change your approach.
Okay.
Try a different strategy. Or reevaluate your goals altogether.
So it's about turning that frustration into fuel for problem solving.
Yes.
It's about asking, what can I learn from this and what can I do differently?
Exactly. What can I do differently?
Yeah.
And speaking of goals, disappointment is another action signal that can come up when our expectations aren't met.
Oh, disappointment.
It's that sinking feeling when things don't go as planned.
Disappointment can be tough to deal with because it often feels like a personal letdown.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
Robbins points out that disappointment often stems from attaching our happiness to outcomes that are outside of our control.
Really?
It's like setting ourselves up for a fall.
Yeah.
He encourages us to focus on the process rather than the outcome,
Okay.
to find joy in the journey itself rather than just the destination. So it's about finding satisfaction in the effort and the growth we experience along the way,
Yes.
even if the end result isn't exactly what we envision.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, another action signal that can weigh us down is guilt.
Oh, guilt.
It's that feeling of remorse or regret, that sense that we've done something wrong.
Guilt can be a heavy burden to carry, I'll tell you that.
It can. It can. Robbins suggests that guilt often comes from violating our values
Okay.
or feeling like we've let ourselves or others down.
Right.
While it can motivate us to make amends and course correct, he cautions against dwelling in guilt. Instead, use it as a signal to learn, to
Right.
grow, and to move forward with a renewed commitment to your values.
So it's about using guilt as a springboard for positive change.
Yes.
Not a pit of despair.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Another action signal that can hold us back is inadequacy.
Inadequacy.
It's that feeling of not being good enough,
Yeah.
that sense that we're falling short.
I think most of us struggle with feelings of inadequacy at some point in our lives.
At some point, yes.
Right.
Robbins points out that inadequacy often comes from comparing ourselves to others
Right.
or from setting unrealistic expectations.
Right.
He encourages us to challenge those negative self-beliefs and to focus on our strengths
Okay.
and celebrate our progress rather than dwell on our perceived shortcomings.
So it's about silencing that inner critic
Yes.
and embracing our own worthiness.
Embracing our worthiness.
Yeah.
Now, a feeling that's becoming increasingly common in our fast-paced world is overload.
Overload, yes.
It's that feeling of being overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Like you're juggling too many things at once and can't keep up.
Overload is definitely something I can relate to.
Yeah,
It feels like we're constantly bombarded with information and demands on our time.
we are. Robbins suggests that overload often stems from taking on too much, from poor time management, or from a lack of clear priorities.
Yeah.
He encourages us to simplify our lives,
Okay.
to delegate tasks, to set boundaries, and to focus on the essential things first.
It's about creating a more sustainable pace for ourselves.
Yes,
One that honors our limits
Yeah.
and allows us to recharge.
exactly. Allows us to recharge.
Yeah.
And finally, there's loneliness, which can be a particularly painful action signal.
Loneliness.
It's that feeling of disconnection and isolation,
Right.
like you're adrift in a sea of people.
Loneliness is something that I think a lot of people experience even if they're surrounded by others.
Even when you're surrounded by people,
Yeah.
Robbins suggests that loneliness often comes from a perceived lack of meaningful connection
Yeah.
or a sense of not belonging.
Mm-hmm.
He encourages us to cultivate genuine connections by reaching out to others,
Okay.
engaging in activities that bring us joy, and nurturing our own self-love.
So it's about building bridges to others and creating a sense of belonging, both within ourselves and in our communities.
Exactly, both within ourselves and in our communities.
Yeah. It's fascinating how Robbins reframes these so-called negative emotions
Yeah.
as these opportunities for growth and self-discovery.
It really is a powerful shift in perspective.
Yeah, it is.
And remember, while these are some common action signals,
Yeah,
everyone's emotional landscape is unique.
right, yeah.
What's important is to become a keen observer of your own patterns.
Okay,
Pay attention to what your emotions are trying to tell you.
okay.
They're not the enemy, they're your guides.
Okay, so we've talked about these action signals, but Robbins also highlights, like, the flip side, right?
Yeah.
What he calls emotions of power.
Yes.
And these are, like, the feelings that lift us up, energize us,
Yes.
help us achieve our goals.
That's right.
I'm curious to explore those more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just as we can learn to understand and manage the action signals, we can also cultivate and amplify these empowering emotions.
So it's not just about minimizing the negative, but maximizing the positive.
Exactly.
Fair.
And one of the most powerful emotions of power is love.
Love.
Robbins emphasizes that love is more than just a fleeting feeling. It's a state of being, a choice you can make in any moment.
That's so beautiful.
It is.
So it's not about waiting for someone or something to make you feel love. You can choose to experience it right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Exactly. And by choosing to feel love, you open yourself to a world of possibilities.
Okay.
You become more compassionate, more forgiving, more generous, and more creative.
Wow, it sounds like love really is a superpower.
It is a superpower.
It is. Okay, too.
And another powerful emotion of power is gratitude.
Gratitude.
It's that feeling of appreciation for the good in your life, no matter how small.
Gratitude is something I've been trying to practice more.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that it really does shift my perspective.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
Robbins suggests that practicing gratitude can actually rewire your brain to focus on abundance rather than lack.
Wow, okay.
He encourages us to make it a habit to express gratitude daily, whether it's through journaling, meditation, or simply taking a moment to appreciate the beauty around us.
Like training your mind to see the good in everything.
That's it, training your mind to see the good in everything.
Yeah.
Now, another powerful emotion of power is curiosity.
Curiosity.
It's that childlike wonder and thirst for knowledge that keeps us engaged and excited about life.
Curiosity is definitely something that fades as we get older.
It does.
It's like we lose that sense of wonder and excitement about learning new things.
We do. But Robbins encourages us to rekindle that curiosity.
Okay.
Asking questions, exploring different perspectives, challenging our assumptions, and never stop learning.
Never stop learning.
Never stop learning.
Yeah.
He sees life as one big adventure of discovery.
I love that. It's about approaching life with a beginner's mind.
Yes.
Always open to new possibilities and experiences.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then there's excitement and passion.
Passion.
Those electrifying emotions that
Yeah.
fuel our dreams and drive us to take action.
Passion is something I've always struggled with.
Okay.
It feels like some people just have it and others don't.
Robbins disagrees. Okay.
He says passion isn't something you find, it's something you create.
Okay.
It's about aligning your actions with your values,
Okay.
pursuing your goals with enthusiasm, and embracing challenges with a sense of adventure.
Okay.
It's about infusing your life with purpose and meaning.
So it's not about waiting for that spark to ignite.
Yeah.
It's about choosing to live a life that lights you up.
That's it.
Okay, I like that.
Choose to live a life that lights you up.
Yeah.
And then there's determination.
Determination.
That unwavering resolve to achieve your goals no matter what obstacles you face. It's that grit and resilience that keeps you going when things get tough.
Determination is definitely something I admire in others.
Yeah.
I sometimes struggle with, self-doubt and giving up too easily.
Robbins suggests that determination is a muscle you can strengthen with practice.
Okay.
It's about developing a never give up attitude. Seeing obstacles as opportunities for growth.
Right.
And using your willpower to stay the course. So it's about summoning that inner strength
Yes.
and refusing to let setbacks derail you.
Exactly. Refusing to let setbacks derail you.
Okay.
Now, while determination is essential, Robbins also emphasizes the need for flexibility.
Oh, flexibility.
Life is unpredictable.
Yes, it is.
And things don't always go according to plan.
Flexibility is definitely something I need to work on.
Right.
I tend to get attached to my plans and get frustrated when things don't go my way.
It happens. But Robbins suggests that flexibility is about adapting to change,
Okay.
going with the flow, and trusting that things will work out as they're meant to.
Yeah, trusting the process.
Trusting the process.
Yeah.
It's about being open to new possibilities and not getting too rigid in your thinking.
So it's about learning to dance with life's unexpected twists and turns.
Yes.
Rather than resisting them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And finally, there's confidence. That
Confidence.
deep-seated belief in yourself and your abilities.
Confidence is something I think a lot of us struggle with.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in self-doubt and compare ourselves to others.
It's easy to do that.
Yeah.
But Robbins believes that confidence is built through action,
Okay.
through mastering new skills, through celebrating your successes, and through surrounding yourself with supportive people.
Yeah.
It's about believing in yourself even when others might doubt you.
So it's about recognizing your worth and trusting in your abilities.
Yes, recognizing your worth and trusting in your abilities.
It's inspiring to hear about all these emotions of power and how we can cultivate them.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in.
It is a lot to take in. Where do we even begin? Well, Robbins encourages us to start by making a conscious effort to amplify these emotions in our daily lives.
Okay.
Practice gratitude, express love,
Yeah.
embrace curiosity,
Yeah.
fuel your passions.
Okay.
And remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about progress.
Progress over perfection. Love it.
Progress over perfection.
Yeah.
And speaking of journeys, let's talk about goals. Goals.
Robbins believes that sowing clear, compelling goals is essential for creating a life you love.
Goals are definitely important, but I sometimes struggle with setting goals that are both meaningful and achievable.
It's a common struggle.
Yeah.
Robbins suggests that goals should be specific,
Okay.
measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, often called SMART goals.
Smart goals. Okay.
SMART goals.
Got it.
And just as importantly,
Yeah.
they should be aligned with your values.
So it's not just about achieving success for the sake of success.
No.
It's about pursuing goals that reflect your deepest desires and aspirations.
Absolutely, that's it.
Okay.
He encourages you to think big, to stretch yourself beyond your comfort zone,
Yeah.
and to set goals that challenge you to grow and evolve.
So it's about aiming high and believing in your capacity to achieve great things.
Absolutely.
But once we've set those goals, how do we actually make them happen?
Robbins provides a framework for breaking down goals into smaller, actionable steps.
It's about creating a plan, a roadmap
Okay.
that guides you from where you are to where you want to be.
It's like creating a step-by-step guide for success.
That's it.
What else? What else does he suggest?
He emphasizes the importance of identifying the resources you need,
Okay.
the obstacles you might encounter, and the support system that can help you along the way.
So it's about, like, anticipating challenges,
Yeah.
gathering support,
Gathering support.
setting yourself up for success.
Setting yourself up for success.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
He also emphasizes the importance of consistent action toward your goals, even if it's just one small step each day.
Small steps. Yeah.
It's about building momentum, creating a sense of progress, and not getting bogged down by perfectionism.
So it's about taking action, even if it feels imperfect,
Yes.
and celebrating those small wins along the way.
Celebrating those small wins.
Okay.
Precisely. He encourages us to celebrate our wins,
Mhm.
to learn from our setbacks,
Yeah.
and to keep moving forward even when it feels challenging.
It's about embracing the journey with all its ups and downs.
Yes.
And trusting that you'll eventually reach your destination.
Exactly. Trusting that you'll eventually reach your destination.
Yeah.
And speaking of journeys, let's talk about time management, which is something we all struggle with.
Time management, that elusive skill that we all wish we had more of.
It is elusive for many people.
Yeah.
Robbins has this unique perspective on time.
Okay.
He suggests that it's not something we can manage in the traditional sense,
Okay.
but rather something we experience based on our focus and perception.
So it's not about squeezing more tasks into our day,
No.
but about changing our relationship with time itself.
Exactly.
Okay.
Robbins points out that you can experience the same amount of chronological time in vastly different ways,
Yep.
depending on your mental and emotional state.
So time can fly by when we're having fun,
Yes,
but drag on forever when we're bored or stressed.
exactly.
Yeah.
And by understanding this principle,
Mhm.
you can start to use time to your advantage.
This is so interesting.
It is.
What strategies does he suggest for, like, optimizing our experience of time?
Well, one of the key strategies is to focus on the present moment.
Being present. Yeah.
When you're fully present,
Yeah.
you're not dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. You're
Mhm.
fully engaged in whatever you're doing,
Yeah.
and time seems to flow more effortlessly.
Being present, that's definitely something I need to work on.
Yeah.
My mind tends to wander all over the place.
It happens.
It really does, yes.
Robbins provides several techniques for cultivating presence, such as mindfulness meditation,
Okay.
focusing on your breath.
Yeah.
He also suggests setting clear priorities and focusing on the most important tasks first, remembering the 80-20 rule.
The 80-20 rule.
Right,
So it's
yeah.
about identifying the 20% of activities that produce 80% of the results
Exactly.
and prioritizing those tasks.
That's it.
That makes so much sense. It's about working smarter, not harder.
Working smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
Like-
Exactly.
He also encourages us to eliminate distractions and create a workspace that supports focus and concentration.
Yeah.
This could mean turning off notifications,
Right.
setting boundaries with colleagues,
Yeah.
or simply creating a dedicated workspace that's free of clutter.
So it's about being intentional with your environment
Yes.
and minimizing anything that pulls you away from your most important work.
that's it.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He also emphasizes the importance of scheduling time for rest and rejuvenation.
Rest and rejuvenation.
Yeah, make sure you're taking breaks,
Yeah.
getting enough sleep, engaging in activities that recharge your batteries.
Self-care is so important.
It is.
You know,
It is.
I often feel guilty taking breaks,
Yeah,
but I know it's essential for my well-being and productivity.
absolutely essential.
Yeah.
And finally, he encourages us to delegate tasks whenever possible.
Delegate.
Delegate, free up your time and energy by letting others contribute their talents.
Delegation is something I definitely need to get better at.
It's a common one.
I have a tendency to want to do everything myself.
Yeah, but learning to delegate effectively not only frees up your time,
Right.
but also empowers others to contribute.
Yep.
It's a win-win.
It is a win-win, I agree.
So we've talked about mastering your time,
Yeah.
but Robbins also challenges us to think bigger,
Okay.
to consider how you can use that time to make a positive impact on the world.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that he goes beyond just personal development.
Yes.
And encourages us to use our gifts to make a difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He reminds us that you don't have to wear a cape or have superpowers to be a hero.
Right.
You can be a hero by contributing to something larger than yourself.
Okay.
By taking action to make a positive impact and living in alignment with your values.
It's about finding ways to use your unique gifts and passions to make a difference, whether it's in your local community
Yes.
or on a global scale.
Or on a global scale, yeah.
Right. What are some examples of how we can do that?
Robbins challenges us to consider the challenges facing our world,
Okay.
from poverty and hunger to environmental degradation and social injustice,
Right.
and to find ways to contribute to solutions.
Okay.
It could be volunteering your time, donating to causes you care about,
Yeah.
or simply using your voice to advocate for positive change.
It's about becoming aware of the issues that matter most to you
Yes.
and taking action to create a better world.
Exactly.
But sometimes it feels like the problems are so big
Yeah.
and my actions are so small.
They can feel big.
Yeah.
But Robbins reminds us that even small actions can make a big difference.
Right.
It's not about waiting for the perfect opportunity or having all the answers.
Yeah.
It's about taking that first step, however small it might seem.
Okay. That's encouraging.
It is encouraging.
Yeah, it's about doing what you can
Yes.
with what you have,
With what you have.
where you are.
Where you are. And welcome back to the deep dive.
Okay, we've covered so much ground in this deep dive into Awaken the Giant Within.
Yeah.
It's incredible how much practical wisdom Tony Robbins just packs into this book.
It really is. It really is. From mastering our emotions to setting powerful goals to understanding the, deeper elements of our master system, it's a blueprint for taking control of our lives
Yeah.
and creating those futures we desire.
One of the things that's really resonated with me is this whole idea of becoming the hero of our own lives.
Yeah.
It's not about waiting for someone else to save us or for things to magically get better.
Right.
It's about stepping up and taking action.
Exactly. Exactly. Robbins reminds us that we all have these unique gifts and talents that we can use to make a positive impact on the world.
Right.
And it's not about being perfect or having all the answers. It's about being willing to show up, to contribute, and to make a difference.
And I love how he challenges us to think bigger than ourselves.
Right.
To see the challenges facing our society and find ways to be part of the solution. Like, it can feel overwhelming at times.
It can.
But it's also incredibly inspiring.
It is.
So what are some practical steps we can take to become more effective change makers?
Well, we've already talked about mastering our time, setting those clear goals, aligning our actions with our values. These are all essential foundations for creating positive change.
Okay, yeah. So we got to have that solid foundation.
You got to have that foundation
before we can start building.
Right, before we start building something amazing.
Something amazing. What else does Robbins suggest?
One of the key things he emphasizes is the power of our stories.
Oh, yeah?
The narratives we tell ourselves and the world.
The stories. Oh, yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah.
It's so powerful to realize that the stories we tell ourselves literally shape our reality.
They do. They absolutely do. And it's not just about the stories we tell ourselves, but the stories we tell others.
Right, yeah.
The words we use, the way we frame our experiences, the messages we share. All of these things have this power to shape perceptions and create change.
Okay, so if we want to make a positive impact, we need to become conscious of the stories we're telling.
Absolutely.
Right. And choose to tell stories that uplift, inspire, and empower.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he also emphasizes the importance of our vocabulary.
Oh, yeah.
The words we choose to use.
Transformational vocabulary, yes. That one, I don't know, it really resonated with me.
It's powerful.
It's just it's amazing how much our language shapes our experience. It really is.
It does. It really does. If you're constantly using negative, limiting language,
Yeah.
you're reinforcing those patterns.
Yeah.
In your mind and in your life. But if you choose to use positive, empowering language,
Yeah.
you're creating a more positive and supportive internal environment.
Right. It's like we're literally programming our minds with the words we use.
Exactly.
It's wild.
He encourages us to be mindful of our self-talk.
Yeah.
The way we describe ourselves and our experiences. And to choose words that support our growth and well-being.
Okay. So it's about being intentional with our language.
Intentional, yeah.
Both internally and externally. It's about choosing words that literally create the reality we want to experience.
Exactly. And another powerful tool is our physiology.
Our physiology, okay.
Robbins emphasizes that our physical state has a direct impact on our mental and emotional state.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that in my own life. When I'm feeling stressed or down, my posture slumps and my breathing gets shallow.
Right.
And my energy just plummets.
It goes down, yeah.
But when I'm feeling good, I stand taller. I breathe deeper.
Yes.
And I just have more energy.
You have more energy, exactly. It's a two-way street. Your physical state influences your emotional state, and your emotional state influences your physical state.
Wow. Okay. So if we want to feel more confident, more energized, more positive, we can actually start by changing our physical state.
You can. Stand up straight, take a few deep breaths, put a smile on your face,
Even if you don't feel like it at first.
Even if you don't feel like it. You'll be amazed at how quickly it shifts your mood and your energy.
I love that.
Right.
It's like having a secret weapon for,
You do.
boosting our happiness, our effectiveness.
You do. You have that secret weapon. What else does Robbins suggest for creating positive change?
Yeah, what else?
Another powerful tool is our focus. What you choose to pay attention to shapes your reality.
Okay, I know this is true, but it's hard to stay positive when there's so much negativity in the world.
You're right. There is a lot of negativity out there.
Everywhere, right.
But you have the power to choose what you focus on. Robbins encourages us to train our minds, to focus on the positive, the good, the solutions, the possibilities.
Okay, so it's about, becoming more aware of our thought patterns.
Yes, becoming aware of those thought patterns.
And making a conscious effort to shift our focus to the things that empower us, uplift us.
Exactly. He suggests practicing gratitude, visualizing our goals, and surrounding ourselves with positive influences, inspiration.
Right.
It's about creating a mental environment that supports our growth and well-being.
It's like we're literally creating a mental garden.
Yeah.
And we have to be careful about what seeds we plant, right?
You got to watch those seeds.
If we plant seeds of negativity, that's what's going to grow.
Absolutely.
But if we plant seeds of, positivity and hope and inspiration,
that's what will flourish.
That's what will flourish. Yeah, I love that analogy. And speaking of things that flourish, let's talk about our beliefs.
Yes, our beliefs.
Which are really the roots of our thoughts, feelings, and actions.
They are. They are the roots.
Oh, yeah, our beliefs. We were talking about those earlier in the context of, our master system.
Right, right.
They have such a profound impact on our lives. It's unbelievable.
They do. They really do. And Robbins emphasizes that your beliefs literally shape your reality. If you believe that you're not good enough, that you'll never succeed, that you don't deserve happiness, then guess what? You're more likely to create experiences that confirm those beliefs.
It's like we're literally creating self-fulfilling prophecies.
You are.
Based on our beliefs.
Based on your beliefs. But the good news is...
Okay, good news.
You have the power to change those beliefs.
Okay.
It might not be easy, but it's possible.
So how do we do that? How do we shift from limiting beliefs to empowering beliefs?
Well, Robbins suggests examining your current beliefs, questioning their validity, and then choosing to replace them with beliefs that support your growth and well-being.
Okay, so it's about becoming aware of those limiting beliefs.
Yes.
And choosing to rewrite the stories we tell ourselves.
Yes, exactly. Rewrite those stories. He also suggests focusing on your past successes, surrounding yourself with those positive influences, repeating affirmations that support your desired beliefs. It's about consciously creating a new belief system that empowers you to create the life you want.
Okay, so it's like we're rewiring our minds for success.
Got it.
It's a process.
It is a process.
But it's so worth it.
So worth it. Now, closely related to our beliefs are our values. Those guiding principles that shape our choices and determine what's truly important to us.
Values. Okay, they're like our internal compass, guiding us towards, what matters most. I've been doing a lot of work on clarifying my values lately, and it's amazing how much it's impacted my decision-making.
I bet it's wonderful to hear. Robbins emphasizes that living in alignment with your values is essential for experiencing true fulfillment and happiness.
Right.
When your actions are congruent with your values, you feel a sense of peace and purpose, but when your actions contradict your values, you feel that sense of dissonance and unease.
It's like we're betraying ourselves when we don't live in alignment with our values.
You got it, you got it. So Robbins encourages us to identify our core values, to prioritize them, and to make choices that reflect those values in our daily lives.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's about walking our talk, about living in integrity with who we are and what matters most to us.
Right. It's about creating a life that feels authentic and meaningful.
Authentic and meaningful.
Yeah. It's about living a life that we can be proud of.
Exactly. And then there are our rules. Those often unconscious guidelines we create for ourselves that shape how we interpret events, how we respond to challenges, and ultimately how we experience life.
Rules are powerful. I'm starting to realize how much my own rules have been holding me back, often without me even realizing it.
It's a common experience. It is a common experience. And so Robbins encourages us to identify the rules we're currently living by and consider whether they're serving us well, you know?
Yeah.
Are they supporting our growth and well-being? Or are they keeping us stuck in those old patterns of fear and limitation?
Okay, so it's about becoming aware of those unconscious rules
Yes.
and choosing to create new rules that empower us
Empower.
and support our highest good.
Exactly, our highest good. And remember those references we talked about earlier?
Yes, the references, yeah.
Those experiences, memories, and beliefs?
That shape our perception of the world.
Yes, they act like filters, right?
Yeah.
Influencing how we interpret information and how we respond to situations.
Right.
So it's like we're all seeing the world through these different lenses colored by our past experiences.
Right, yeah.
Exactly. So Robbins encourages us to become aware of the references we're currently holding.
Yeah.
And to consider whether they're serving us well. Are they supporting a positive and empowering view of ourselves and the world? Or are they keeping us stuck in old patterns of fear and limitation?
Right, so it's about choosing to focus on the references that empower us.
Absolutely.
The ones that support a more positive and expansive view of reality.
Exactly. And finally, there is our identity, the core of who we believe ourselves to be.
This is getting deep.
It is deep. Robbins emphasizes that our identity shapes our entire experience of life.
Okay, so if I identify as someone who's not good enough, I'm more likely to attract experiences that confirm that belief.
You could, but the good news is
Okay, good news.
you have the power to choose to create a new, more empowering identity.
So how do we do that? How do we shift our identity?
Well, Robbins suggests focusing on your strengths, celebrating those successes, and visualizing yourself living as the person you want to become. It's about rewriting the story of who you are and stepping into a more expansive and fulfilling version of yourself.
Wow, it's so empowering to realize that we have the power to create our own identity.
You do. And as you embark on this journey of transformation, remember that it's not about achieving perfection.
Perfection, that elusive ideal.
Yes, it can be so paralyzing. Robbins encourages us to embrace the concept of progress over perfection.
Progress over perfection.
It's about making those small, consistent steps forward.
Yeah.
Rather than striving for that unattainable ideal.
I love that. Like, it just takes the pressure off and makes the journey more enjoyable.
It does. It does. It's about focusing on continuous improvement, learning from those mistakes and celebrating your efforts even if they're not perfect.
It's about being kind to yourself.
Yes, being kind to yourself.
And embracing the journey, imperfections and all.
Exactly. And one of the keys to embracing progress over perfection is cultivating a growth mindset.
A growth mindset. Okay, what does that mean?
A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and learning. It's the opposite of a fixed mindset, where you believe that your abilities are predetermined.
Okay, so it's about believing that you can always learn, grow, and improve.
That's it.
No matter where you're starting from.
No matter where you're starting from, people with a growth mindset embrace challenges.
Okay.
They persist in the face of setbacks.
Right.
And they see effort as the path to mastery.
Okay, so it's about embracing the journey of learning and growth even when it's challenging.
Absolutely, even when it's tough. Another key to embracing progress over perfection is practicing self-compassion.
Self-compassion, that's something I definitely need to work on.
Yeah.
I'm my own worst critic.
We can be our own worst critics. Self-compassion is about treating yourself with kindness and understanding.
Okay.
Even when you make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's about being your own best friend.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
It is. And Robbins suggests practicing self-compassion by noticing those self-critical thoughts, challenging those thoughts with kindness, and reminding yourself that you are worthy of love and acceptance.
Even with our imperfections.
Even with your imperfections, yes. It's about silencing that inner critic.
Yeah.
And offering yourself a more supportive and encouraging inner voice.
So it's about being kind to ourselves.
Yeah.
Even when we mess up.
Even when we mess up.
It's about remembering that we're all human.
Yes.
We're all doing the best we can.
We're all doing the best that we can. And another key to success is focusing on your strengths, those unique talents and abilities that come naturally to you.
Okay. I've heard this advice before, but it's hard to know what my strengths actually are.
It can be. Robbins suggests taking some time to reflect on what you enjoy doing, what comes easily to you, what you're good at. And he emphasizes that focusing on your strengths is far more effective than trying to fix your weaknesses.
Okay, so it's about playing to your natural advantages.
Yes, your natural advantage.
Rather than trying to be good at everything.
Trying to be good at everything, yeah. He also suggests leveraging those strengths, right?
Okay.
By delegating tasks that don't align with your talents, collaborating with people who complement your skills, and creating a work environment that allows you to do what you do best. It's about creating that synergy where everyone can thrive.
Okay, that's a beautiful vision. Now, as we've been exploring all these different ways to make a difference, it's important to remember that it's not a solo mission.
No, it's not.
Like, we need support along the way, right?
We absolutely do. Robbins emphasizes the importance of surrounding yourself with a supportive community, people who believe in you, who support your dreams, and who challenge you to grow.
Her tribe.
Your tribe, exactly.
Yes.
He suggests that the people you spend time with have a profound impact on your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors.
So true. Like,
Right.
if you surround yourself with negative, critical people, you're more likely to adopt those same patterns.
Yeah.
But if you surround yourself with positive, supportive people,
Yes.
you're more likely to thrive and achieve your goals.
You are. You are. He encourages you to be intentional with your relationships and choose to spend time with people who bring out the best in you.
That's such great advice. I've definitely noticed that the people I spend time with have, like, a huge impact on my mood and my energy.
Huge impact.
Really does.
It makes a world of difference. And remember, you can find those supportive communities by joining groups that align with your interests. Volunteering your time, reaching out to people who share your values.
Right.
It's about building that network of support,
Yeah.
circle of people who have your back
Yep.
and cheer you on along the way.
That's such a beautiful vision. Having a tribe of people who believe in you, support your dreams. It's so inspiring. I'm really feeling inspired right now.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Awaken the Giant Within, let's recap some of the key takeaways that can help you create a more fulfilling and impactful life.
Okay, ready for the highlights.
Here are the highlights. First, remember that you have the power to choose.
Okay.
You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the architect of your own destiny. You have the power to shape your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions, and ultimately, your experience of life.
That's so empowering.
It is empowering. Second, embrace the power of your emotions. Don't suppress or ignore them. Learn to understand them and use them to your advantage, Those action signals, they're trying to guide you.
Right.
Learn to listen to those messages.
It's about becoming the master of your emotions rather than letting them control you.
That's it, becoming the master of your emotions. Third, set those clear, compelling goals that inspire you to take action.
Right.
Make sure they're specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, those SMART goals. And most importantly, aligned with your values.
So it's about having a vision for your life.
Yes.
And taking steps to make that vision a reality.
Exactly. Fourth, master your time. Understand that time is a mental construct and that your experience of time is shaped by your focus and your perception.
Yeah.
Learn to be present, prioritize those tasks, eliminate those distractions, take breaks, delegate whenever possible, and create a schedule that supports your well-being and your goals.
So it's about using time as a tool for creation rather than a source of stress.
Exactly, a tool for creation. Fifth, make a difference in the world. Use your unique gifts and passions to contribute to something larger than yourself. Find ways to make that positive impact, whether it's in your local community or on a global scale.
Okay.
And remember, even small actions can make a big difference.
It's about stepping into your power.
Yes.
And using it for good.
And using it for good. Embrace that progress over perfection. Let go of the need to be perfect and focus on that continuous improvement. Celebrate those wins. Learn from the setbacks and keep moving forward.
It's about being kind to yourself and enjoying that journey.
Exactly. Cultivate that growth mindset. Believe that you can always learn, grow, and improve. Embrace challenges as opportunities for growth.
So it's about approaching life with that sense of curiosity
Yeah.
and a willingness to learn and grow.
Absolutely. And finally, remember that you're not alone. Surround yourself with that supportive community, people who believe in you, who challenge you, and who help you become the best version of yourself.
It's about building a tribe of people who have your back.
Yeah. Exactly.
Wow. What a journey. So listeners, as we conclude our deep dive into Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giant Within, we hope you found this conversation insightful and empowering. Remember, the power to create a life you love, a life that matters, is within you. It's time to awaken your giant within.